is a journey into a world that knows no limits, where swinging fun meets love, hearts entwined.
Hello, we are the Polyquad Life Podcast. I'm Charlie, and joining me on this beautiful day are my quad partners. We have Marie,
Hi.
we have Ray,
Hello.
and we have Nicole.
Hello.
On this episode, the quad discusses insecurities in the lifestyle, and we all have them. And this is a good topic. So we'll dive into what is an insecurity. Insecurity is a feeling of uncertainty or lack of confidence in oneself, one's abilities, or one's relationship.
Yeah. So once again, if you say you don't have an insecurity, you're probably lying to yourself. And it's not that it's a bad thing. It's just something that we all feel, and sometimes we have to work on it. So yeah.
One of the parts with that is also realizing you're not always going to be everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What one person finds attractive, another person is not going to find attractive.
Right.
Absolutely. So, yeah. So and these are the same insecurities that we face in everyday life. Um, Even in really any kind of relationship, truthfully as well. Doesn't have to be a lifestyle relationship. You face insecurities. That's
Oh,
just
yeah. I
part of
mean,
life.
even at work, you face insecurities. I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm not as good as the next employee, or well, if I say this, is it going to upset someone? Even though I think that I should do this, should I say it? I mean, I'm insecure about what if they look at me and say, "Hey, you're an idiot." No, we're not going to do that. So, but of course, insecurities in a lifestyle are a little different. You have multiple insecurities. Body image and inadequacy is a big insecurity for a lot of women, a lot of men. Um, I would say more body image on the female, but males have body image issues as well. Um, so body image and inadequacy is defined as fear that one's body is not attractive enough or that a new partner is better than you, often leading to performance anxiety. So I know that I've had that in the past, and um, it was where a lot of my jealousy came from, actually.
Mhm.
So inadequacies lead to jealousy. I actually looked at Ray several times. And I was like, I don't want you to go out with them. And he's like, well, why not? And it wasn't that anything was wrong with them. And I was like, well, you're gonna find something in them that you don't find in me. And like I've said before, that's a great thing. Um, it's not that Ray's gonna leave me, but it's something that I can't give him. So
Yeah, absolutely. So I have to agree that I have had these issues in the past. And I definitely have them again now, especially after having had a mastectomy and reconstruction. I have scars, and sometimes I'm like, wow, what if, I'm not enough? What if people no longer find me attractive? And I think that that's for everybody, whether it be that you feel like you're carrying around a little bit too much weight, or maybe you have small breasts, or maybe you're not as well endowed as the next guy. People, you that gets in your head, and then you're afraid again, like, well, my partner might like that person better.
yeah. So like you said, I'm a little bit on the bigger side, and even though I'm very um comfortable with myself, I constantly feel like I'm not enough because I am a little bit bigger. But believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there that do like a bigger girl. Like Ray, he's very well endowed. So he's always afraid that he's gonna break a really tiny girl.
And there's a lot of truth in that. But also, I guess with myself, is I'm a tall, skinny guy. A lot of females like a bigger, bulkier teddy bear type guy. And that's an insecurity that I have. I have tried, there is nothing I can do to gain weight, I have had to accept that about myself.
I've tried putting weight on this man for 20 years. It does not work. It all goes to the penis.
Yeah, it's not that he doesn't eat, folks, he eats.
He eats
I
a
still eat like
lot.
a
He eats
15-year-old
more than
boy.
most teenage boys,
Yeah,
actually.
absolutely. Yeah.
So, Ray, what about inadequacy as far as, um, like on the male perspective of it?
As in well, besides body image, like, performance anxiety, I have seen everybody seems to struggle with that, especially in this lifestyle, and I'll be the first one to admit to it. I take a little pill that helps me out, and it's mostly because of the anxiety of it. It's like you spend a whole night working up and you don't wanna be the Minuteman, and the worst thing you can do is see sitting there in your head going, "Don't go, don't go, don't go." It doesn't work out. It
Yeah.
has the opposite effect.
Yeah. What about you, Charlie? How do you
Um,
feel about, like,
yeah, I
inadequacies?
mean, insecurities, I mean, I have them too, like, opposite of Ray, I'm a smaller guy. Um,
You're not that small.
yeah, I know.
I mean, you're definitely smaller than Ray, but
Yeah.
a lot of men are,
Yeah, a
so
lot of men are, but
yeah,
it's sometimes like you feel like you're measuring yourself up to somebody else.
yeah,
Also that you know, are you gonna perform the way you know you can perform?
yeah,
And you have that performance anxiety sometimes.
absolutely.
Sometimes you just gotta, like, relax and know that it's okay just to be yourself and
I
enjoy
mean,
the
you guys are
moment.
playing because
Yeah.
the other person is attracted to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And like I said in the past, I'm extremely hard to get off. So, if everybody in the room has already come and I have it, guess what? I'm not scared for you to tell or for me to look at you and tell you, "Hey, get out the toys."
Yeah.
But it took a
And
while for you to get there too.
it takes me a long time to get there. Yeah, extremely hard to.
Well, I mean, like, in the lifestyle, it's before you were comfortable enough to say something like
Oh,
that.
yeah, it definitely took a while. It was like, "Okay, well, we'll just go home and play with the toys." Now I'm like, "Hey, bring the toys with us because I know I'm gonna need them." And that's just my own body because it's just so it's so difficult for me to have an orgasm, and that's something that I struggled with as far as, acting like I would have an orgasm, so people wouldn't look at me like I was a challenge or something like that. Alright, so the next one, jealousy and emotional risk. So that's defined as intense, uncomfortable feelings arising from seeing a partner enjoy intimacy with someone else or fear that a partner will leave you for someone new.
And we all have this in the lifestyle, and we've touched on this on previous podcasts as well of how you deal with jealousy. And Ray has the best example, and I use it all the time as well to people. You ask yourself, why am I feeling jealous?
Mhm. Yeah, before you act on, your jealousy, because jealousy as it was just defined for us, it isn't intense. It can be a very intense feeling. There's definitely different levels of jealousy. You could be a little jealous of something, like, I'm like, "Oh, I wish I was as tall as she was," or, something like that. Is that an intense emotion? No, that's not an intense emotion, but when you're talking about jealousy, between partners, the feeling can become very intense. And like Ray has told us in the past, before you act on that jealousy, stop and ask yourself, why am I jealous? And often you'll find that it boils down to what we just talked about, your own feelings, that you may be inadequate. And that's unfortunately something we have to work on within ourselves. Your partner can't change that, or your partner's can't change that. It's something you have to work on within yourself.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely look at your partner and be like, "Hey, I'm feeling jealous about this. How
Right.
can we get past it?" But don't make it a, "Hey, I'm jealous about this. You can't do that." Or, "I don't want you to do that." It's, "Hey, I'm feeling jealous about this. Can you recenter me?" A lot of
Mhm.
times because it's not about your partner leaving you or finding someone new. Once again, it's different experiences.
Yeah, and one thing, I guess, with the performance of the jealousy, someone else doing something better than you can do. And I've honestly done this, I don't know how many times. I see someone do something with Nicole and she really enjoys it. And I'll look at them afterwards and go, What did you do? Will you explain that to me?
It's good.
None of us went to school for for playing. Ask the questions, learn new tricks.
Yeah.
People know things you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
People have
People have
different
different
experiences.
styles, different experiences. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. So next one, boundary violations. And unfortunately, that can be common in the lifestyle, especially sometimes with newer couples because they don't quite
They
understand.
don't know boundaries
They don't
yet,
know
Yeah.
and
boundaries
they have
yet.
to sometimes
Yeah.
cross or make something uncomfortable to set a boundary.
Yeah.
Right.
So we've all been there and done that, and we've established our own boundaries and rules. And I think that's a huge one, a learning curve when
Yeah,
you're
I
in the
mean, whenever you first
lifestyle.
start out, like you said, you don't know what your
Yeah.
boundaries are. It's like, okay, let's jump into this and see what's going on. That's whenever you start feeling the jealousy, you start feeling the
Mhm.
inadequacy. Sometimes it's like, oh, I don't want someone else kissing my partner because I feel like that's a more intimate thing.
Yeah.
And as you grow in the lifestyle, a lot of times those will
Yeah,
change
boundaries are always evolving.
always.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that's the thing. Like if you do your if you're entering the lifestyle and you do your research, or perhaps you're already in the lifestyle, but for some reason it's not working out for you, do a little research and see what some of the common boundaries are that people have. They're endless, and you may come up with some on your own. But if you don't have boundaries, I highly suggest for your and anybody else that you're involved with that you start to establish them, and that you're in agreement on them. If you're single, you still should even have boundaries. You should have your own personal boundaries, and they're there to protect your emotional health, and if you have a partner, theirs as well, and to protect your relationship.
Also with that though too, and I've come across this, I think I've only come across this once in the lifestyle where, like, we've sat and we've talked with a couple about boundaries and that kind of stuff, and we go to play, and the other person's wanting to cross their boundaries that their spouse has
Right.
set. And
Yes,
that's a real big red flag for me. I want out of the situation right at that point in time because I respect your partner as much as I do you.
absolutely,
Yeah, I mean, because some people do play separately. That's one of their, the things that they do, or that's the only way that they play. They play separately with other partners, makes them feel more comfortable. If you talk about those boundaries, you also have to keep that other person in check to make sure that those boundaries are not crossed. Because not only is it going to be bad on them, word's gonna get around, yeah, they don't listen to boundaries. They
Mhm.
don't respect boundaries. Um, and I'm not saying that it's common in the lifestyle that people cross boundaries. Sometimes you cross boundaries without knowing, and that's why we say to talk about them. One of the things that Ray and I do with a new couple, if we're thinking about playing with them, that's one of our main questions. What are your boundaries?
absolutely.
Um, what what are you looking for in the lifestyle? And some new couples, because we have this magnet for new couples, and I love it. I love teaching new couples, not just sexual things. That's one of the reasons we're doing the podcast. But why are you in the lifestyle?
Mhm.
What are you looking for in the lifestyle? What are your boundaries? So those questions that you talk with that other partner. So I mean, boundary violations is an insecurity that a new partner will not respect established rules or that one's own partner will cross agreed upon boundaries. So it doesn't have to be just your partner, it can be other people as well.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. If you're going to You need to hold yourself accountable to your own boundaries, the boundaries that you've established with your partner or partners. But anybody, back to what Ray and Nicole were both saying, anybody that you are wanting to play with or considering playing with, it's good to know their boundaries because you also should respect them. You don't want to be that person that, you know, breaks their
Breaks trust.
confidence, breaks
Yeah.
their trust. Likewise, you should hold that person accountable as well. So if they're saying like what Nicole said, maybe kissing is off the table. If your playmate is trying to kiss you and you know that's against their boundaries, you need to say, "Hold on now, wait a minute," because you're giving respect to both partners or all partners
Right,
involved.
like Ray was
Yeah.
saying, the one time that he was playing and one of his partners, um, wanted to cross those boundaries, and he was like, "Wait, hold on. Nope. No, no, no. We're not doing this." And it kind of ruined the whole situation. Yeah. So next one, fear of abandonment or loss. So the underlying anxiety that the open relationship will destroy the primary relationship or that your partner will prefer a new partner. I think this kind of goes back into the jealousy, inadequacy, kind of all the way around. So whenever you have those fears of abandonment, a lot of them unfortunately start out as a child. Whenever a parent abandons you, doesn't, do what they say that they're going to do, even as an adult, you can become, you can have that PTSD, fear of abandonment. Your partner cheated on you and left you for someone else. So literally your primary partner can do absolutely nothing on the wrong side of things, but you start getting that jealousy and that fear of inadequacy and you're like, they're gonna leave me. And you start shutting down, you start, really getting jealous and sometimes blow up. You guys have a big argument, your partner's sitting over there in the corner like, what did I do? So, talking about those things and making sure that your partner's aware of your fear of abandonment, that's something that you definitely need to talk about, in your personal life too, because I mean, it doesn't just go for the lifestyle. It's
Absolutely.
on in an everyday basis, and a lot of people, even at work, um, their fear of abandonment kind of comes out as, "Oh, I'm going to do something wrong and lose my job."
And I mean, the lifestyle will definitely uncover a lot of the insecurities that you have that most couples will never sweep them under a rug. It does become a healthier relationship because you have dug that stuff out. But, like, me personally, I kinda think about it as I struggled with it quite a bit when we first started out. Then I kinda thought and realized, and it's like, this lifestyle is not creating those insecurities are there. If Nicole's going to leave me, she's going to leave. We're in this lifestyle. No, I need to make sure that our relationship is solid, and you need to do that either way, whether you're in the lifestyle or not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
And
mean,
that's what kinda eased my mind. It's like, it's not like, "Oh, this wonderful person is just going to show up." If there's something wrong between the 2 of us where we would end up splitting up, either way, it's gonna happen.
right. And this is something actually that hits very close to home. I think probably for all of us, but I can definitely say for myself, definitely. And this what Nicole was talking about, like, abandoned as a child, could also just simply being your parents were not as present
As
in your
available.
life.
Yeah.
We're talking about, and this goes all the way back to when you're a young child. People tell you like, "Oh, teach your children to self-soothe." Well, yes, you do want to teach them that, but you also want to be responsive to when they're crying, when they whether because they're hungry or they need to be changed or they bumped their head or whatever the situation is. You need to be present because if you're not, that's where that starts, and then this comes up in relationships later on in life, and I unfortunately had parents that were not very present in my life, and it has my fear of abandonment and the anxious attachment style that I developed as a result of it has caused a lot of issues, between Charlie and I, and it's something that we had to work with, on our with our counselor, and how you respond to your partner that is experiencing that is very important. You need to reassure them. Yes, it's something they need to work out within themselves, but simple things is just when you get into a fight, letting your partner know like, "Hey, I need to take a break. I will be back. I'm not leaving you." Okay? It's just simple stuff like that. So, just learning those skills to help address, these fears
Yeah.
can go a long way.
Yeah, I mean, like when Ray and I first got into the lifestyle, when we would have an argument about stuff, which will happen, do not think that you're going to get in this lifestyle and you're not going to have an argument about something. Maybe not, yelling, screaming, full out war, but it will happen, because you need to learn that communication. So whenever Ray and I were first in the lifestyle, anytime that we would have an argument about something the other one didn't like, I would turn around and I would delete everything. I would delete everyone from the lifestyle. I would sign out of Facebook. I was like, okay, well, you're leaving me. I don't need all of this. I'm not going to do all this without you. And that's not what it's about. It's because of my own childhood trauma, and we have learned that if, we have that argument, it's not like he's leaving me, I'm not leaving him, but, I mean, even Ray has that fear of abandonment.
Yeah. I think everybody does to some level.
To some degree, absolutely.
Alright, so we've kinda touched on this already, but performance anxiety. So pressure to perform sexually in a certain way, leading to stress and avoidance. So
Yeah.
that's I feel like a lot on the guys. One of the great things about women, we could just lay there.
You can be pillow
Give me some
princesses.
lube.
Yeah. You can
Yeah,
be pillow princesses.
yeah,
Well, I mean, it goes both ways. Guys
Yeah.
can just lay there, and the woman can do all the work too. It doesn't
yeah, but as
Yeah.
happen
far as,
that
like, performance
often, but
anxiety, though, like,
Yeah. I
yeah,
guys,
mean,
they
we've
have to have
we've
an
all
erection to play.
we've
right,
all been there. I
true.
mean, Ray and I have definitely been there, and we've had our issues, and I sometimes if I'm feeling, like, anxious or performance or we're playing with a new couple and I'm like, I don't know, like, how I'm gonna perform, one thing I tell myself is just relax. It goes a long way.
Yeah,
If you just relax and be like, "Hey, we're all here for the same reason," that's just take a step back, relax, and it's okay. Be like, "Hey, guys, I just need a minute," you know?
yeah, you guys
So,
play, I'm gonna sit here and watch
yeah,
and.
yeah.
And also, I guess with that too, let's say you guys have flirted, you've gotten worked up, and you go to play, and you're that minute man. There's hands, we've got a tongue, there's lots of other things that
There's
you can
Toys,
do.
there's
There's toys.
Toys.
yeah.
Don't
absolutely.
also don't be that guy that finishes in
You're
a
like, I'm
minute and
done.
then gets up and walks off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even
Try to
though
help make
it's
sure everybody has a good time too.
yeah, I mean, even though it's not an emotional thing, like, aftercare is a real thing. Like, if I play with you and, you're that minute man and you're like, "All right, see you later," and then my partner's over there still having fun and enjoying everything, I'm probably not gonna play with you
Well, yeah,
again.
Yeah.
definitely, that's not gonna happen.
No, I mean, and a lot of that could be performance anxiety, it
Yeah.
just happens. Yeah, so I mean, along with Ray also being very well endowed, like I've said before, I'm extremely hard to orgasm. So he has learned to hold out a little bit longer. Um, some guys can't do that. So Ray's over there and he's like pounding away, having fun, and the guy that I'm with is sitting over here huffing and puffing, like, I can't do this anymore.
Okay, but also with that too is I I want the other person to have fun, and I've learned to edge myself,
Mhm.
and then I will get to the point that it don't matter what happened, I'm not getting there.
Yeah.
And there's some frustration with that, but I've learned to accept that though too.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, the aftercare part is very important, but as Ray's saying as well, you shouldn't be in this just for you to get off. If you don't find pleasure in pleasuring other people, then you probably need to just uh, go solo.
I mean, you can still be in the lifestyle to flirt
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
have those, intellectual connections and things like
Yeah.
that, but it's not about just, going to a party and 30 minutes in, you're having sex with somebody and an hour later you're having sex with someone else. Trust me, that's not gonna happen. I mean, maybe if you go to an orgy. I don't
I
so
haven't found one quite like that yet.
yeah. So talking about how some of the, insecurities surface.
Yeah. So, how do insecurities surface? Well, comparison. Comparison is a huge thing. Comparing yourself to others uh, or to other participants, which can lead to feelings of being less than, back to the inadequacies. So, again, for instance, I'm not as thin as she is. My breasts aren't as big as hers. My outfit's not as nice. Whatever. If you start comparing yourself to other people, you are going to,
Spiral.
yeah, you're gonna further develop your insecurities and your feelings of inadequacy, And, I have to honestly say, so I think everybody knows Charlie is quite a bit younger than I am. He's 11 years younger than I am. And when we got
He
to
likes it. Likes his cougar.
when we first got together, he was feeling inadequate about where he was in his career. And I looked at him and I said, "You need first off to stop comparing yourself to your friends and what they have and where they are in their career." I said, "Because you took a different path. You took a different
Yeah,
path. And here's all the things that you did, served in our military, things like that, that they didn't do. And so they're just in a different place than you are right now. But that doesn't mean you're not as successful. It doesn't
right,
mean, and it's the same thing anytime you any kind of comparisons that you're making, that you need to, it boils down to self-esteem and looking at yourself and being able to say, "Yeah, I'm not this, I'm not that, and I'm not this and that, but I am this, and I am this, and I have done this, and I do that, and I like me. I
right.
don't need to be anybody else."
So, yeah, that's I mean, that's kinda like me, I started my healthcare career later in life. Ray and I had kids when we were in our 20s, and I was lucky enough to be a stay-at-home mom. Ray was able, to keep us afloat, pay the bills, things like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, we struggled. But, you know, at work, I, see the people that are the same age as me and they're further along. And it's like, yeah, I want to be there, but I still, have some experience to get before I can be there. They weren't a stay-at-home mom, they had to balance their career with their young kids, and I'm sure that was hard on them. Lucky we didn't have that issue. So, I got this, but it didn't get that. They got that, but didn't get this.
Right.
It's
And it doesn't mean that you're not a good nurse
right.
or that you won't be as good of a nurse at some point in time that you feel that the person or persons that you're comparing yourself to are. It just means you're at a different place.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
different. You're in a different place in your life, and it's the same thing when we talk about, you know, the lifestyle, and you're just different than another person. It doesn't mean that you aren't enough. So tip of the day is basically just don't compare yourself to other people.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's
We
that's hard for anybody to
It's
do.
hard to
yeah,
do.
So,
we
It's
all
hard to
walk
do.
different roads and
Yeah.
get there at different times.
Yep.
right. So I've
Absolutely.
always said I don't regret anything that I've done because it's made me the person that I am. And same way in the lifestyle. I mean, you might not, might look back and be like, yeah, we're not doing that again. And that's fine. Just, you know, just because she has bigger boobs or just because she has a better outfit, doesn't mean that yours is any less than.
Exactly. Exactly. So that moves on to rumination. So rumination is fixating on scenarios where your partner is with someone else. This is what I like to refer to as spiraling.
Hmm.
You get this idea in your head, and then it's the worst case scenario. It's like what can go wrong in your mind, it's going wrong. And this can lead you into feeling jealous. Can if you let yourself go far enough, acting in ways that you typically would not act, behaving in ways that you would not typically would not behave. And but it's hard not to do that, especially if you're not dealing with your own insecurities. It's going to take you right back to that, potentially feeling that you're going to be abandoned, that your relationship with your primary partner is doomed, or even here. I mean, I could easily ruminate that Nicole maybe likes somebody better than she does me. And that's just gonna be like, if I let that go in my head and start, well, what if she decides she doesn't wanna be in this relationship with me anymore? Or what if she likes this person better and I don't get to see her as often as I usually do and spend that kind of time with her? It can really spiral out of control.
Yeah. I mean, if it's something that you're worried about, once again, communication, communicate with your partner. Hey, this is how I'm feeling. what are your thoughts on, this scenario? And sometimes it can be a very sexualized, hot thing, thinking about, those scenarios, them being with someone else, if that's your thing. If you enjoy your partner being with someone else, which I do. I enjoy watching Ray, Charlie, Marie be with other people and having that enjoyment, but I'm not spiraling where, oh, well, they're gonna like them more, I
Right.
mean, if you like someone more, if that's what you prefer to do, nothing I do or say is gonna fix that.
Yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. And well, that kind of leads straight to the topic is the misdirected anger. Where you're lashing out and acting out of fear rather than addressing the root cause.
yeah.
And I think we've all been there and done
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
And we worked through it, but you have to be able to pause yourself in that situation. Be like, "Hey, I don't know why I'm angry, but I'm angry." And figure out what's causing that
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 feeling.
that feeling that what makes you wanna lash out.
I mean, you might be upset, and I'll give a for instance. We went to the club one time. Wasn't too far out from one of my surgeries. Still experiencing a lot of fatigue, discomfort, and I didn't want to play. Charlie got a little bit upset um, at me, or seemingly at me, but it was frustration on his part, because I think he had in his
Oh, yeah.
mind, well, what we like to refer to as a script,
Mhm.
and I, told him, I'm happy if you go ahead and play. It's not something that I feel tonight." But in his mind, he had really wanted me to be involved. And it things didn't go so well for us that evening.
Yeah.
Um, but we lived and learned. And we learned not to have scripts because that kind of led to that misdirected anger.
Yeah. So, a lot of times when we're at clubs, parties, things like that, I enjoy the dressing up, the drinking, the socializing. And sometimes I socialize too much and don't play. Ray enjoys playing, and we've got to the point because it used to be that we only played together. Now I'm like, I'm doing this. You want to go play? I have at it, buddy.
Yeah.
Even in everyday life or even here, I'm like, yep, I'm tapped out. It's up to you, Marie.
Well, but we even go that way with other things outside of the lifestyle. I wanna go do something, I'm all excited about it. At any point, even any of you can go, "I wanna go," or, "I'm not feeling it tonight. Go have fun."
Yeah, and I
Absolutely.
mean, we've done that before. We went to that meet and greet, and Charlie and Marie weren't gonna go, and, well, they had the grandbabies here, so they were like, "Yeah, we're not gonna go," and then, we're video chatting them while we're on the way there, and Charlie's like, "I think I'm gonna go," and that's fine too. It
Yeah.
could have very well been Marie, "Hey, I think I'm gonna go." "Charlie, you got the grandbabies
Yeah.
tonight." So, I mean, and it can also be that, we were all planning on doing something. Marie's done it before. She started not feeling good, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna go."
Yeah.
So, you guys go and have fun.
Well, that leads us to, how do we manage these insecurities?
Well,
And
we missed one, the
okay, go
need for constant validation.
Oh, yes.
And that honestly, I think is a big one, in the lifestyle. It's a big thing for it can be a big thing for anybody, but in particular in this lifestyle, I do believe that there are sometimes people get into the lifestyle because they have a lot of insecurities, and they feel like they can be validated by interacting with other people, that other people finding you attractive enough that they wanna play with you, that sort of thing,
Be
and
great too.
yeah, no, and that can be great. It can be validating as long as you do it in a healthy way, but the need for constant validation is basically requiring frequent reassurance of love and security from your partner, and it's important that we do validate each other, but what you want to be cautious of is acting acting out basically in order to get attention. If you need validation from your partner or your partners, you need to tell them.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you acting out to get attention.
It's not gonna lead you anywhere
It's
good.
it's it's not gonna lead you anywhere good because typically first of all, you're acting in a way that you typically would not act and showing behaviors. It's only gonna confuse your partner. Your partner's not gonna know what it is that you're really after, and they might provide that validation, but then in your own head, you're going,
This is how I have to act to get that.
"This is how I have to act to get that." And then it just cycles back into, "Okay, so I acted in a way that's not me, and now so does this person really still love me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that wasn't me that they responded to." So it's very simple just to say to your partner, "Hey, we have developed this. Come back to me. If we're starting to feel one of us is starting to feel insecure and need some validation, it's a simple tap on the leg or squeeze on the arm and
Yeah,
said, "Hey, come back to me."
and you
Mhm.
don't even have to say it. I mean, literally, I can stand there and grab any 3 of you, grab your hand and squeeze it, and it's an immediate you know that I need you with me at that point.
Hmm.
And, like, I have a praise kink, um, but I don't use that to detriment other people either. Do I enjoy it? Absolutely. And I think it circles back around to the fear of abandonment, um,
And being enough.
and being enough.
Hmm.
Yes. I enjoy being told that I look beautiful, that I look sexy, but I'm also not out there acting out
Right,
to
you're
do
not
that.
being somebody that you're not in
No,
order
not
to
at
get
all.
right, exactly, and that's where the problem comes in with needing validation. If you're needing validation and you're being yourself, that's perfectly fine, but if you're acting in a way that isn't you, doing things, saying things, even dressing in ways. Nicole and I have very different styles. She wears bolder makeup, um, usually a little bit more revealing clothes. She likes dark colors. I'm the opposite. I'm neutral makeup. Um, I like pastels and things like that. And yeah, I'll wear something a little sexy, but I'm not as comfortable showing my cleavage. So, but if I did that, if I got dressed up in a way that I was uncomfortable and I get all this attention and I'm going to be like,
But that's not
"Oh,
me.
that's not me." So, do they really like me or do they like this person I'm pretending to be?
Yeah. Now we can get to managing those
Yeah, now we
insecurities.
get to managing insecurities. So, the big one, you know, and we've harped on this, and we're actually, um, gonna have a special guest here soon to talk about this topic.
Mhm.
More to come on that, is effective communication. So, discussing your fears openly before, during, and after engaging in lifestyle activities is huge. We always, kind of, do a debrief, which is
Yeah, I mean, even the
huge.
4 of us, we do a debrief.
Yeah,
So, I mean, we do them in our, primary
yeah,
relationship, we do them in the quad relationship. I mean, sometimes we do them with other couples that we've
yeah,
played with, we do a debrief.
yeah, and, I think just the effective communication is key. That's number 1 in the book.
Yeah.
And with
Uh,
that, remembering that if there is an issue, a problem, an insecurity that comes up, you're a team working to solve this, not one person against another.
mhm,
Exactly, and, this is where a lot of your boundaries can come from is, um, discussing your fears, or your likes, as we kinda focused on fears, but same thing as likes. So, one of the things that Charlie and I started doing after our first few lifestyle experiences is, during our debrief, it is, what did you like?
Mhm.
What didn't you like? What would you have liked to have happened that didn't? And that just helped us further develop our, what do we want out of this lifestyle? what are our boundaries, what's off the table, what more do we want to see happen, you know?
Right, and
And it's very healthy to do that because then it means if you can talk about that openly and honestly, everybody gets on the same page and everybody can get the most out of their lifestyle
right.
and their participation in it.
Yeah, and let's be honest, most couples that are in this lifestyle have been together for a very long time.
Mhm.
A lot of times you're looking to spice up your love life. So you have that I'm sorry, that foundation set. So talking to your partner, it's not like it's gonna be a new person. It's like I don't know how they're gonna react to it. You're talking to somebody that knows you and most of the time knows you sometimes better than you know yourself. So "Hey, I wanna do this. Hey, I don't wanna do that." You have to make sure that you're not fearful to talk to your partner and realize that your partner, should validate your feelings as well as, validate their own feelings. So, "Hey, I wanna do this," and your partner's not gonna just sit there and be like, "Okay, honey, whatever you wanna do." You know, your partner might be, I'm not sure if we're ready for that right now," or, "Hey, we can try it. If we don't like it, we can immediately stop." So, trusting your partner as well and not being scared to bring those things up.
And
Yeah.
also with that, just because you've been with someone for so long, there's a lot of things that you can bring up that you may never thought that you could. And it's wording and taking the time to discuss that kind of stuff. There was many things when we first started out, it was like, "Nah, she'd never be okay with it." I just need to discuss, we talk, and we figure out. No, maybe we're not jumping off that cliff, but we can take the step.
We can take it a step. Let's not jump off that cliff just yet. We don't have our parachute packed yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, that leads us to another way to manage insecurities, and that's really reconnecting with your partner.
Yeah.
And the r
That goes back to the aftercare,
and it goes back to the
and it
aftercare.
doesn't have to be directly after sex
And
either.
and also it also doesn't it can be, "Hey, let's have a date night." And it doesn't mean let's go to the lifestyle event. Let's just go out to dinner and talk. Have a date night in and cook dinner for each other or, put on some records and dance around the living room and reconnect kinda deal. But
Lay
I
in
think
bed, watch a show that you guys
watch
have been
yeah,
talking about,
yeah,
or
binge watch some
you
TV.
need that next episode.
Yeah.
By the way, don't watch an episode of a show that you're watching with your partner without them. That's
Yeah.
just fucked up. And if you do, act like you've never seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Busted.
Busted.
reconnecting is basically actively reassuring each other and focusing on the strength of the primary relationship. And it is very important because, again, that helps feed to the security of the relationship, helps remove some of those insecurities, is that we're still the two of us. We
As Ray say, "You're still the team. You're still
Yeah,
the A
you're still
team."
Yeah.
the team.
Yeah.
And yes, we might go out and have dates with others, play with others, flirt with others, whatever the situation may be. But in the end, that's your home.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, even with the 4 of us, Marie and Charlie, that is your primary person. That's the person that's gonna be with you if, Ray and I are not. If we're like, "Okay, we don't wanna do this anymore, we're out," Charlie is your person, and you build that connection with your person, so you have to nurture
That
nurture
relationship.
that relationship. Even in a poly relationship,
Yes.
you nurture Charlie more than you nurture mine and Ray's, um like, connection with the 2 of you. Not that you don't nurture our relationship as
Right.
well,
Right.
but,
Mhm.
I mean, if you wanna call it a hierarchy, call it whatever you want. We, as a 4, don't call it a hierarchy,
No.
but if that's what you wanna call it, that's fine. Um, your main partner is your main goal. I mean, it's kinda like you got that big test. My main goal right now is to pass that test.
Mhm.
So
Another way you can manage insecurities is having a, self-reflection, addressing personal traumas in your life and past life and, getting to the root cause, and that's where therapy comes into play.
yeah, I mean,
And
and you can do self self-paced
Absolutely.
therapy.
Yeah.
If you have a problem with something, once again, don't go off about something. Like Ray has said in the past, like we've all said in the past, why am I feeling this way?
Yeah.
What is going on? I really like that. What did I really like about that?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, same thing, like and if you're not into formal therapy, there are all kinds of scholarly articles out there at the tip of your fingers written by professionals that can help you work through things, can help you self-reflect, and just make sure that you're not, don't follow a blog because you're getting people's personal opinions, but
Right.
if you wanna learn more about your attachment style, just Google attachment style. There's tons of quizzes out there
Yeah.
written by professionals
Mhm.
that you can take and learn more about, "Oh, that's why I do that. That's why I behave like that. How do I change that?" There's tons of again, all you gotta do is, how do I am not nearly as much of an anxious attacher as I used to be because I did that research. I figured out why I was the way I was, and I researched articles on how do I move into a healthier attachment style, a balanced attachment style.
Yeah, you
So,
don't have to pay for it either.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to pay for it. Just make sure you're actually reading articles that are being written by experts on the
Yep.
subject.
Yeah, not the magazines.
Yeah.
Not the
Uh,
magazine, not some guy that happens got a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if you guys remember, I'm sure it was, 80s too, but in the 90s, there was a lot of those teen magazines that had
No, yeah,
these
little quizzes.
quizzes in the back, and then
Yeah.
you added up your points, and then you went to that.
Showing your age now.
Oh, you know.
We still
Uh,
have that. It's called Cosmopolitan.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, but
So
yeah,
and I
so
think the last thing we'll touch on managing insecurities is setting clear boundaries, and we've kind of talked
We've
about
talked
this,
about that a lot
but
throughout.
establishing firm, agreed upon rules to create a safe environment in the lifestyle.
yeah, and
And
like we
that's
said before, those can change.
yeah,
Right,
and those are evolving.
and those don't need to be they need to actually be discussed and agreed upon, not just,
Yeah,
"Okay, if that's what you want."
Right.
Work through them enough where you guys are on the same page.
yep,
Yeah, and I mean, it doesn't have to be, "Okay, this is our boundary now, here in 2 weeks, we might change it."
Absolutely.
If you've got that boundary, you've gotten past, it's
mhm,
like, "I think I wanna try this," talk to your partner.
talk
Don't
to your
just go out
partner
there and
about it.
change it and not talk to your
Yeah,
partner.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to communicate that, with your
Even if it was
partner.
your boundary.
And
yeah,
right,
Yeah.
and you also have to understand that nobody is a mind reader. You as well as you may know somebody, you cannot expect that in your mind, I want this to happen or I don't want that to happen. You don't communicate it to your partner or your partners. There's no way that they're going to know that.
yeah,
And then what do you got? You gotta fight because either something happened that you didn't want, but you also didn't communicate it, or something didn't happen that you did want, but you also didn't communicate that. So guess what? It's not your partner that
Yeah.
messed
mhm,
up. It's you because you didn't talk about it.
yeah. So that leads us to questions.
Alright,
So
Ray, you wanna read some questions for us?
yeah.
Alright, first question we've got today is what insecurities does Quad face?
I
Well,
mean, your everyday insecurities. We all have jealousy. We all have, body, image, insecurities, and we manage that just like everyone else does. We're not sitting here saying we're perfect, and we think we don't have any insecurities. I
no,
mean, we do.
and one insecurity that we might have one day, we don't have it the next or
Yeah,
vice versa.
yeah,
You're like,
Yeah.
I I've been there where it's like, "Oh, I love this outfit. I feel hot in it." The next day I'm like, nope, I feel like Pillsbury Doughboy in this outfit."
yeah.
Well, I think too, and perhaps like maybe what this person is trying to get to is like what insecurities do we face as
As a
as a
quad.
quad?
Yeah.
And I'll give one example. You've been concerned that perhaps our children may not like you guys or like our relationship. And because of things that other people in the family may be saying. And I had to reassure Nicole, like, hey, guess what? My child is a self-thinker.
Yep.
They are going to make up their minds about you and us and our relationship based on themselves. They are not going to listen to what other people are saying.
Right, and like I
Um,
said, it comes back to the fear of abandonment,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Mhm.
because we do have such a close relationship with you guys, and we love you guys, and we don't want something that someone else says to hinder that those feelings that you have for us.
And I'll be
Yep.
honest, I had a bit of an insecurity last night. There was an incident with one of our children. Ray and Nicole had to up and leave, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh my god, is this going to potentially take them away from us?" I was ruminating. I'm sitting here going, "Well, this might happen, that might happen, and then it's gonna lead to this, and they're not gonna be able to spend time with us anymore." And then I was like, "Hold on, hold on, hold on. You do not have enough information to
Yeah.
even come to this conclusion." But
She thought that
I
Ray
was
was going to go to jail.
yeah. I thought it was definitely a possibility. But you know that's I had been drinking. I was tired, but I was able to calm myself down and go, "Hold on, let's just let this play out and we'll all come together and we'll talk about it." And,
Yeah.
here we
Yeah.
sitting today all
We
together
came
and
back. I mean, it was
yes.
this morning, but
Yeah,
we
yeah,
came back.
technically it was this
And we
morning,
were
but we
and we
came
were
back.
waiting up for you.
Yep,
Well,
we're
Mhm.
waiting
Yeah.
up.
I was not
Okay, you guys
quite
were
awake, but
still in
I
the
was
living
I was
room.
on the couch. I
Yeah,
had
you both
fallen
was
asleep.
you both had not gone to bed yet. Awake, no, you
Yeah,
were not
well, we
awake.
weren't going to go to bed until we knew everybody was safe, so
Yeah. All right, next question.
All right. It sounds like Ray and Charlie have more playtime than the ladies do. Are you in the lifestyle just to let the men play, or is it equal playtime for the ladies?
it is equal time playtime for the ladies. So
When we want it.
when we
Yeah.
want it, and that's what this boils, down to is, okay, so there are some people that are in the lifestyle, more for one partner than the other. That's again gonna go back to boundaries, and it's, I have to be able to say to Charlie, "It's okay if you go do this, that, play, whatever. I'm not there tonight. That's not where I wanna be." But likewise, he's doing the same to me. Charlie has a higher sex drive than I do. Charlie
Ray
has more
has
energy than I
yeah.
do. But
I mean,
trust
let's
me,
face it, we're both, middle-aged women, and we're both going through menopause, as a lot of women in this lifestyle do. We don't have the sex drive that we used to. Like, it's clinically proven that women most of the time have a higher sex drive in their 20s. Men have a higher sex drive later on in life. And as they get, older, and they're actually a little bit more fertile too later on in life. So if you don't want kids, get him slipped. Um, so I mean, and like I said, I'm a social butterfly, especially whenever I'm drinking. Sometimes I forget that we're at a sex club and I'm flirting with people, and if I want to, I can go have sex. We had a couple here last night. We had a game night before everything, went to shit, and we were talking about that. And I looked at him and was like, "Hey, if I'm talking to you and flirting with you, and I'm drinking, I might see something out of the corner of my eye and be like, 'Squirrel!'" I was like, "Sometimes you have to rein me back in."
Yeah.
Charlie says to me all the time, "What am I like?"
Depending on the amount that you drink, but once you get to the point of hurting cats.
Yeah.
One of
Try
the
to
local
try to
bars that we go to, I don't know how many nights that the bar is closed. She's like, "I'm gonna go to the bathroom." Okay, she goes to the bathroom. I gotta say goodbye to everybody. By the time she says goodbye to everybody at the bar, I've gotta go to the bathroom. And she'll do that 3 or 4 times until it's like, "No, no, okay,
they're literally
out the
kicking us
door,
out.
out
Yeah.
the door." And it's like, "I need to say bye to everybody. You've done it 3 times. Come
well,
on."
even while the bar's still open, we'll be standing here having a conversation with us. We're all having a conversation, and the next thing you know, 3 of us are looking at each other going,
Where did
"Where did Nicole
Nicole
go?"
go?
And
Yeah.
that's one of the things I loved about the Halloween party, costume, is it was like, "There she is. She's
Yeah. She
glowing."
was
Yeah.
she's
She's
glowing.
glowing,
Or
yeah.
or Nicole say, "Hey, let's go do this," and it's like and then on the way, it's like, "Hold on, I thought we were doing this," but there's going to be pit stops along the way.
Yes.
Yes.
Trust me, you're not going directly to do whatever it is that she said you were going to do.
No,
So
but if I decide to go play, I will look at Ray, I will look at
Yeah.
Charlie, Marie, and, "Hey, I'm gonna go play. You guys wanna
Yep.
join?" Or
Yeah.
if they're like, "No," like, "Alright."
Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
So
and I don't know if this was from a newer person newer to the lifestyle, but actually the statistics point to the fact that typically women are the ones that get the couple into the lifestyle.
Yes. Yeah.
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 It
Alright.
is a
So
female
this
driven society.
A
Yes.
good part of what's going
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
this next question is actually for Nicole. As a bisexual female, do you find it easier to play with women or men in the lifestyle?
Well, that one's a hard one. So, there's no really easy thing about it. So, as a woman, women terrify me. Like, especially whenever I am attracted to them, you have those insecurities. So it's like, oh, is she gonna find my body as attractive as I find her body, or
Mhm.
does she find me as intellectually attractive as I do her?
Is she more experienced
Is
than
she
I
more
am?
experienced than me?
Mhm.
Um, I have learned actually a lot of women are less experienced than me, and I'm not that experienced
Right.
either. Um, it took me a really long time to realize that the attraction that I have to women is okay and I can do these things with women, but I'm not always sexually attracted to women. Intellectually, yes. A lot of times. Sexually, not always. Friendship, absolutely. And love friends, love making new friends. Men is definitely easier. I have 40 plus years of experience with men. So I
Really?
know,
That many?
well, you know what I mean.
I'm like, "All
You
right."
know what I mean. Okay, I can't do math right now. I have 30 years of experience with men. I wasn't doing anything under 10, whatever. I didn't do anything sexually until I was 16, but um I have multiple years of experience with men, so I know what men like and I know what men
It's your
don't like.
familiar
Right.
zone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Familiar zone.
it honestly is easier to be with a man because I don't have as many insecurities,
Mhm.
but I still love women, and I love being able to
Yeah.
look at my guy partners and be like, look at that. Hey, you wanna go play with that?" And absolutely is what they say, but yeah, I definitely find men easier to
Yeah.
be with.
Cool. No, that was a good answer. I
Yeah.
like that. So now the last question we have is actually for Marie. So it says, "Congrats on kicking cancer's ass. How did you bounce back and put yourself back into the lifestyle after your cancer journey?"
I honestly, it's a lot of what we've already talked about today. So, um, it has taken a while. I'm still not back in as much as I had been previously when I was diagnosed. Um, and that in part is really has just more to do with my energy levels, and some continuing aches and pains, that I have from various surgeries and the things that my body has gone through. Um, I there was a time, during all my treatments and surgeries and things that I considered that I may not be getting back into the lifestyle, and actually I grieved that. In fact, it was actually kind of one of the first things that came to my mind when I found out I was diagnosed and having an understanding of what was potentially going to be in store for me, because nobody's journey is the same. So, but and I grieve that because we were at the height of things. I was s- physically in the best shape of my life. And I thought to myself several times, I'm not going to be comfortable changing into something. I can't wear the same lingerie and things that I wore before. Not only because I've gained weight, but also because I can't wear underwires. They're uncomfortable. They rub on my scars. And I just was feeling really insecure about my body, my appearance. And I finally looked at myself one day and I said, "You are the same person that you were before all this happened to you." Yes, your body looks different. Yes, you've gained weight. Yes, you have scars, but you are the same person. Inside and out, you are the same person. I'm a wonderful person, and I just told myself that, and it's like people are going to like me for who I am, which is the same person I was before, or they're not.
Right. I mean,
And that's
you have
that.
a couple more scars, but those scars just shows you that you've been through something.
Yep. I'm
You
this
were just as beautiful,
Yeah.
if
thank
not
you.
more. You've learned to be patient with yourself, which
Yes,
you were not before.
I have learned to have an immense amount of grace and patience with myself. And I'm not a very patient person. Patience is something I have had to train myself to. But I definitely have always been harder on myself than I ever have anybody else that I've ever known. And I have learned to be patient with myself. I've learned to be graceful with myself. I've learned that I have limitations, and that that doesn't make me
Any less.
any less than what I've ever been. It makes me respectful of myself, and honestly, that has also allowed me to have more patience with other people and more grace with other people. And it's made me a better person.
No. Awesome. That's great.
She's a badass.
She is a
Yes,
badass.
yes.
That she is. Alright, so we're gonna wrap this one up. We need a shit swinger say.
Hold on, I feel like
So
something was said
it
last
came
night.
last
I
night.
was gonna
So
Yeah.
say,
one
Last
hold
of
on.
night.
our like I said, we had another couple over here and he had just gotten a tattoo.
Mhm.
And he was talking about the tattoo artist. How did he say it? He
Mm,
pounded that black in.
Yeah, he pounded that black in, that's right.
And
Shit swinger
well,
say.
they were at the house and some of their kids were there and the wife started to say shit swinger say and she goes, SSS.
it's
So
Uh,
catching on,
it's
people.
catching
it is
on.
Send us your shit swinger say. Send us your questions and
absolutely,
your
'cause,
shit
we
swinger
have
Yeah,
a
say.
lot of them, but we
yeah,
forget them half the time, so, send us in the, shit swinger say and give us a story behind it,
yeah.
and maybe we'll put it
Well,
on.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Well, thank you for listening today and check out our website, thepolyquadlife.com. And you always can check out our content on our Facebook page. Also, remember to email or message us your questions. We always love getting questions and answering them. So, with that, everyone have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
The polyquad life is a journey into a world that knows no limits. We're swinging from